So it was pretty much like America in Germany.
Yeah.
But it was just like communities, and they were also separated physically. So they were fenced off.
Yeah.
There were gates to go in and out.
Yeah.
And in these areas there were housing, so houses, fast food
It was
restaurants,
it was like a little village.
US Post, American supermarket, American electronic shops,
everything.
Cinemas,
Yeah.
bowling alleys.
Yeah.
Right. So it was like these are like American communities, but they're in Germany. Everything is in English. I think also US dollars, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep. Everything's in dollars.
Right.
Yeah. Hairdresser.
So it's possible to live in these communities without even setting foot in Germany itself.
I mean, there were people who lived on base and they never left the base except to go to the airport when they left Germany, or when they came to Germany, they literally went straight to the base and never left it.
Right. And also there were schools there. So high school. And so you went to school there.
I went to school there.
On the American base.
On the American base in Wiesbaden.
Right.
For 2 years. It was the funnest 2 years of my life.
Because you moved here when you were 15. So
exactly.
You were just at the peak of you passed the ugly duckling teenage phase, like the preteen.
I was already in my model phase. And it was also, on that side, it was also interesting for me, and it was interesting for my school colleagues, mates, whatever, because I was the only English person in the school, and I was a bit of a novelty.
I would say there were several phases. For you, there was post-US Germany, when you left the American system in Germany, and then you started working and living more on the German side.
Yeah, but still not immersed in the German side, because I was working for an American company on base, registered on the German side because of taxes, income. I was getting paid in Deutschmarks at the time, which, for anybody who's not old enough to remember the Deutschmark, it was the currency before the euro. So we had to be registered on the German side, because officially we were working as German sector workers, or all our contact was still with Americans. I was selling cars, and it wasn't until 2010 that I really, or 2011, say, that I really actually started to have 90%, 100% German involvement. Yeah.
So this is from 1988 to 2010. Most of your life in Germany was American.
Lived in a bubble.
Lived in this American or US military bubble, right?
Yeah.
So how would you describe the transition?
The transition
was when you started working for a German
company.
Yeah. And how would you describe that transition?
It was a bit of an eye-opener, because at the time when I started working, I'd stayed around Wiesbaden originally after I finished school. All my friends left and went to the States, and I stayed working a job here, job there. They'd all gone, because the thing you do after high school is everybody goes to college in the States, and here's, I mean, for me, it wasn't really, I didn't really feel it, so I ended up staying here. 2010 came, end of 2010, and we were both actually looking for jobs, if I remember correctly. Yeah. And you happened to get the offer to come down to where we are now. And it was then, or right before we moved, that I realized my German was pretty bad for being here so long. And there was practically no chance of getting a decent job, because the Germans were big on what you have as far as papers, qualifications. If you don't even have an apprenticeship, then they didn't want to know you. And that was probably the hardest thing.
Mm-hmm. Because when you were working on the military side, you were able to get by just on your charisma.
And my good looks. Why are you laughing?
I'm not laughing at that part. You are charismatic and good looking.
Yeah, ladies.
Yeah, so you were able to get by on that, but then your charm did not work.
It didn't work.
Hit the job office.
It didn't work with Herr Schmidt. No.
Even though you've lived here no longer than you've lived in England, we should probably call you Helmut.
Twice as long. We should have a party. Anyway,
Of course.
yeah, we'll talk about it afterwards.
Hey there, it's Danielle. If you'd like to hear more, the full episode is available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, or on dfng.podcast.com. Additional content is posted on Instagram and Facebook under dfng.podcast. Thanks for listening. Take care. Till next time.